You've thrown me under the bus again, Harps. You never tell me I'm doing the intro until I get jumped in the call. And as the music fades away, we are back. Harps, it's good to be back, mate. We've got an exciting announcement. We got new hats.
Oh, yeah, geez, we do have new hats. The hats featured in Brandon's pocket profile there, which was very, very fun. Did you enjoy that pocket profile, Brandon? What was the trickiest question I put to you?
The trickiest one was the scariest moment in my life. I don't know. I hadn't had many moments, so I didn't know what to give you there. Sorry.
By the way, we better. I was going to say, Harps, as well. We better intro the guest as well. So, Brandon Starc, Australian high jumper, Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games. He's done it all, really. So I just thought we'd better give our guest some context.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely do that. But that pocket profile gave a very good story with the scariest moment of your life. So I encourage people to get on the Patreon and check that out. But Brandon, in that pocket profile as well, we talked about your newborn baby. So how's that going?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's going really well. He's growing up really quickly. He's almost 2 months old and giving plenty of smiles at the moment. So, it's exciting. I love being a dad and seeing him grow up. It's pretty awesome.
Has having baby Ollie, has that changed your mindset on life or maybe sport more specifically, even?
A little bit. I guess it's probably a little bit thinking about them a little bit more. Obviously, life's a little bit different to what it was before. But I think maybe as I and him get a bit older, I think that's when it will really change. He's still pretty fresh, but when I'm probably going out to my next major, I think definitely I'll be thinking about them and thinking about home. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
And mate, speaking of the baby, I was having a bit of a look through the Instagram for the usual research that we do for the podcast, and it looks like you had a pram sponsorship just before the baby came in. So how does that come about? I'll read out your Instagram post, actually. It says, super grateful to roll around in the new Fox 3 pram by Bugaboo Oz. All we need now is to fill it with a tiny human. So how did you get a pram sponsorship, Brandon?
Well, I don't know if you guys are well aware of how much some baby stuff can cost. That pram is, I think, just around 2,000 retail. So, I mean, they're a really good pram, really good brand. And I guess I reached out to them and see if they're interested, and they were.
So you reached out to them? Wow.
I did, yeah. And hey, it's been going awesome so far. It's super smooth, and I just have to kind of share them a little bit, and yeah,
mate, that's unreal. Just send to it, Blue Bomb. Did you try any other baby brands? It's like most of your baby stuff around the house actually sponsorship deals?
No. That's to be honest, I think that's the only thing. We actually got gifted a lot of stuff, as you do. Like my mum. It's my mum's first grandchild, and so she got us a lot of stuff. People got us a lot of clothing. We got lent like a capsule from Laura's sister. There's so much stuff. We've probably got too much stuff.
Oh no, mate, that's unreal. And of course, congratulations are in order. But now we'll get back on track in terms of the sport. So, high jump. Mm-hmm. How did you get into it? Like, what made you want to go down that sort of path? Because I know, I guess, looking in, so you played a bit of footy, a little bit of cricket, team sport, but obviously went down the athletics track.
Yeah. When we were younger, so I've got a few siblings. I've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters. And when we were all younger, we got put in little athletics. We were all pretty sporty when we were young anyways. When I was young, I did cricket, soccer, T-ball. Mitchell and I we did a couple comps of 10-pin bowling, which hasn't translated because I'm pretty lousy at it. We did. So we did heaps of sport. And I guess when we were younger, the 3 main ones for me was soccer, cricket, and athletics. And as I kind of got older, I think I started getting better, more, I think, at athletics. And I went to a sports high school, Hill Sports High, in Seven Hills, and I went for athletics. And I think that's where athletics kind of took the front step, I think, front seat. And from there I could continue training and then sort out my current coach. So I've been with my coach, Alex Stewart, since 2009. So we've been together for quite a while. And yeah, I think that's the kind of, long story short, that's how athletics kind of took over my life.
You mentioned how 10-pin bowling hasn't had a kind of huge impact on your high jumping and your athletics, but I've heard you did tap dancing and ballet, if I'm not wrong there.
Sorry, did I miss that one, did I?
Does that translate at all into high jumping, and how do you get into that?
Yeah, well, so obviously two sisters did it. Older brother did it as well. I don't know if he did tap, to be honest, but two sisters obviously did a lot of dance, and I don't know if I can't remember if I really had a say in it, but I was there dancing. I do remember there was I think one dance. So it was doing like Mickey, Hey Mickey, and I was the only guy, and there was about 15 girls there. So I must have done something right, because I think it helps my flexibility, and it helped my spatial awareness, I think, and which is pretty important for high jump, knowing where the bar is and what to do with your body to get over the bar. So I think for sure it's helped my everything to kind of do with high jump. And I don't know how much you do it these days, but if guys were, thinking about it, go for it.
Right, I like how you really downplayed at the start. Oh yeah, I didn't really want to do it. Mum forced me, but actually it was so good.
It was so good.
So are you going to force Ollie to do it as well?
Yeah. I've actually thought about it. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll just see what happens when we get to that stage. Yeah. But
Mate,
for sure,
unreal.
I think it has helped. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess bit of how Harper and I differentiate from ourselves. So he was going through your Instagram looking at sponsorships, and I was on there looking at you squat 250 kilos. So mate, tell us a little bit about the training regime, because I'm guessing that, squats and stuff, you must require so much power in your legs. And I'm really interested to know what a international level high jumper actually, what he does day to day.
So I guess compared to a lot of other people, so my brother, Mitch, gives me a bit of stick for my squat. He always says, "Oh, where's the rest of your squat?" Because I'm only doing a third squat sort of thing, where he'd probably be doing full squats. But for a high jumper, I don't need to be going in that sort of range, because I'm not getting in that sort of range when I'm jumping. So a lot of stuff's really quick, shorter range stuff. So main lifts we do is we go narrow grip snatch, some cleans, step ups, squats. They're probably the main Olympic lifts or bigger lifts, when we always couple them with some sort of supplementary stuff. But for a week, we only do gym twice a week and 3 track sessions a week, and usually only do high jump once a week, sometimes two times a week. But it's not like everyone thinks, you're always just doing high jump. We got to do a lot of other stuff, plyos, a lot of running. Obviously high jump, you got to run before you jump, right? So you need to learn how to run properly. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Yeah.
And you mentioned running there. I've heard you talking about running properly in high jump.
Yeah.
So what is running properly in high jump, and how do you do it?
Well, I mean, you got to for sprinting, you need to run properly, right? You can't. I mean, it might help for some people, but for high jump, it's a lot of technical aspect goes into the jump, and you have to be in the right position to be able to jump high. If you're leaning forward with your legs all the way at the back, you're definitely not going to be in a position to be able to jump high. You're just going to go straight forward. So without going too in depth with technicalities,
mate, seriously, feel free to go in depth with technicalities, because it's really interesting.
Yeah, you kind of got to be in front of yourself to be in the right position to set up to jump high. So if you're not really running properly, or running to prepare yourself to jump, then that you're going wrong from the beginning, sort of thing.
Yeah, and when you're, I guess, you're running properly and you're on the top of your game, you're on form. How does that mindset, like the mentality you're in at that moment, differ from the kind of mindset mentality that you have when you're not on form and you're not quite hitting your targets?
Yeah. So when everything's going smooth, I'm clearing bars easy. Everything's feeling all right. Everything's clicking over. We're going good. You really, I've got nothing going in my head. Like, it's just all autopilot. You know what you're doing. Your run up smooth. Your takeoffs on point. It's just all free flowing sort of thing. Whereas on the other side, it's it can really overwhelm your mind if you start thinking about okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. So I think that comes with experience from knowing kind of what to do when things aren't going super smooth, trying to either forget about some things and just focus on this one thing to try and nail that. And then, all right, okay, I've nailed that. Let's try and focus on this. When I was younger, for sure, I would get overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, I'm jumping horribly. What do I like? Coach is saying this. I need to do this. But I think I've been doing it for 10 plus years now. So I think I can easily sort myself out when things aren't going super smooth.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So for you, when you're in form and out of form, the main difference is all sort of mental. Like, it's the clear mind that you have when you're in form, whereas when you're not, you're just sort of worried about all those other little sort of like nitty-gritty details.
Yeah. Well, generally when we come to comps, I guess if we're talking more specifically a major comp like the Olympics or World Champs or something, physically we've done all the work. Like, I'm not going to do anything on that day physically that's going to change me from jumping 225 to 235, right? It's all mental. It's all hitting the right cues, hitting the right everything, technique, positions, being in the right mindset of jumping. So yeah, all the physical stuff is done like right now, basically in the off season. You got to, as you saw, a 250 squat. I'm not going to be doing that a day before a comp, right? So it's doing all the heavy stuff, all the hard stuff now. That's the physical stuff done, and then it's all up to your mind and being confident and hitting everything right.
Mate, definitely. I can definitely see how important that is, and it's awesome to see you shifting the tin around the gym. Sorry, I'm sure. And I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but I think it'd be amiss not to when we're talking about form and we're not mentioning your 2018 season where you absolutely just when career best form, I think PB at 2.36 metres, Com Games gold medal, Diamond League, Continental Cup as well. Is that correct?
Yeah,
you won that as well.
No, I came second. Yeah, same height, but it was count back. So
it's still pretty insane season. Like, what do you put that down to? Was it just what you were sort of alluding to before?
A little bit. I don't know. So 2017. Well, if we go back. I'd made a team from 2013, 14, 15, 16. I made all those Australian teams. Off the Rio Olympics, I had surgery on my ankle, and 2017 season wasn't great. I mean, I thought I was ready to jump. Well, I jumped 225. That was my best that year. Didn't qualify for World Champs. I missed my first team of my career, sort of thing. So obviously, I had a bit of an early break because I didn't make the World Champs team, and then I don't know if it was a shift of mindset, but training up until Australian Champs and even Com Games, there were no hiccups. It was all smooth sailing, and going into Com Games, the qualifying went super well, and I don't know if it was Alex or me, but it was just basically going into the final, backing myself and having the confidence that, I belong in world athletics, in world high jump. I belong here, back myself. I know I can do it. And I did. And so I won that. And off that, I think the rest of the season was like super smooth. As you said, I won a couple Diamond League final. equaled the Australian record, continental second. So like it was a pretty big year, and I think that was just off the back of being confident and believing in myself at Com Games early on in the year.
Yeah, mate, pretty big year indeed. I think you set 3 PBs, the highest one being 2.36 in Eberstadt in Germany.
Yes.
And I'm having a look. The high jump record all time, 2.45 meters.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can hit that kind of mark because that's just phenomenal.
Nah,
but
yeah.
realistically, how high do you reckon you can go? Do you reckon you can beat your PB again?
I think so. Yeah. The way I've been training recently, I'm faster, I'm stronger. I still have confidence in myself that I can jump higher. 235 at the Olympics, it was good. It was a long comp for me, and I think if it was a little bit shorter, maybe I could have jumped higher. But obviously coming off that, jumping my best at a major, that was my best result at any of the majors that I've been to, 235. So I've got some confidence coming off that to jump pretty high. And I just got to have confidence in that for sure.
Yeah, and you're 28 now. Like I'd say probably in your prime, I'd say, fair to say.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So what kind of things are you doing to kind of make your prime last as long as it can and avoid as many injuries as you can?
That comes down to, I guess, pre-season and prep, and basically kind of using knowledge from my coach and physio and everyone else that I kind of seek to keep the body in one piece. It's a lot of prehab, rehab, and general prep going into the pre-season sort of thing before you get into specific prep before you compete. And I think, I'm not 21 anymore, so I can feel it in my body a little bit more, which I think is making me pay attention to it a little bit more. So just trying to keep diligent and do all the little things like, regular massage, regular treatment, physio, doing what I need to do at home to recover properly to just keeping the body in one piece. I think I'm, like, as I said before, I had surgery on my ankle in 2016, and so far that's been manageable. Obviously jumped to 235 last year, so I can obviously jump high, and that's been the biggest managing sort of part of my body. And if I can keep that going for another couple of years, then perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously that preparation, I guess, getting that rehab in is super important in preparation for the events. And I think, like you said, so 2016 ankle surgery, missing out, first time ever not being selected. I think you said in the Australian team in 2017. How tough was that, and how did you deal with that? Because obviously you went to the Olympics in 2016. You had you came 15th, which is like an awesome achievement. And then I reckon it's pretty cool, but couldn't even come 15th at my school. But yeah, but it must have been so tough though to then like miss out on the team the next year.
Yeah, well, yeah, as a first team missing out, and I really didn't know how I was going to bounce back from that. I think I'm quite good at compartmentalizing some things in my career, and I think forgetting about the bad stuff and just focusing on the future. Like if I have a bad comp, previously when I was younger, I'd dwell on it for quite a while. But as I think I've gotten older and more experienced, I know I can easily kind of move on and forget about that and take what I need to into the next one, move on and forget about all that negative sort of stuff. So I think, yeah, from the 2017 going into 2018 season, I knew, okay, we've got a home com games. We've got that to look forward to. Let's just, new season, full steam ahead. Let's give it a crack. And I think that's kind of how I've been since. And I had a couple of bad comps last year, leading into Tokyo, and especially like Monaco, I jumped, I think 220, which was the comp before the Olympics. So I'm like, all right, I know I'm in good shape. Just it just didn't work. You just kind of move on, go back to training, sort some things out, and fire up for Tokyo. So yeah, just kind of that, I guess, mental side again. Yeah.
Yeah, I know your wife Laura. She was an athlete herself, and you're mates with Kyla McCulloch, who's had her fair share of bad injuries as well. So, and obviously your coach as well. So, were there particular people that you kind of leaned on and used their support to help you through the periods where you had injuries?
Yeah, Laura's definitely the number one. I mean, obviously, physio, Brent Kirkbride, he's been my physio for forever. And he knows my ankle, he knows my body super, super well. So any sort of things I've got going on, he's right on top of it pretty quick. But he's not at home. I don't come home to Brent. And Laura, so she finished her master's in exercise physiology with a 7 GPA. So she's very intelligent, yeah, and she knows the body quite well. Obviously, she was an athlete herself. Very much enjoys the body and movement and athletics, and so I've always kind of come back to her and been like, oh, what do you? If I've got something sore, I'm like, oh, what's that? What do you reckon I should do? Should I release this? What do you reckon it is? And not even that, just someone to kind of vent to or like release some things in my head and she understands everything. So, you know, I think that's been super important to have her in my life for me to do that. I think it's been hugely beneficial.
What part of athletics was she in?
She did 200s. Dabbled in 400s and 100s, probably less 400s, more a 1 and 2. And yeah, we met on the way to Japan for an athletics trip. So yeah, she was pretty quick. She still thinks she can beat me in a 300. I don't think so, but she backs herself.
I know. So you say you think so, but you haven't actually gone down to the track to test it out, just to keep it up there.
I don't know if it'll ever happen either. It will just be
just keep pulling out. Sorry, too much. That'd be too much load on my training card.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to look after the body. Just keep putting it off. But you alluded to it before. So you met on the way to Japan now on an athletics trip. Now Harper, he told me it's a pretty good story how you met. Is there anything more to it, mate? Elaborate, because I know our listeners, they're massive romantics. So
okay.
Look, just give us anything.
I'll try and make it short. I mean, so yeah, we hadn't met before that trip, and we just got put on the same booking by chance, and so we were sitting next to each other. We got bumped up to premium economy, which I thought was awesome, And yeah, so we spent 10 days in Japan, I think, with a couple of other Australian athletes. Kind of just, I don't know, we just kept chatting after it and kept in contact. And so that was 2014. And then, so we were going on a trip to Monaco for the IAAF awards night. They asked me to come out and I said, can Laura come? And I knew from research, there was a Japanese gardens in Monaco. So I thought, fitting. This is a perfect time to propose, and previous trips I'd always take a camera and tripod and I'd set up like a selfie sort of thing. So she didn't think anything of it, whereas I was taking photos of me proposing and got the ring out, pretended to fall over this little step, and she tried to pick me up because I fell over, but I was proposing, and she said yes, and now we're married for 2 years and got a kid. So
mate, that's unreal. I'll tell you what, I just took down some notes there how to get it done. That is
I mean, she wasn't expecting it, so
yeah.
You did well.
Oh, that's unreal, mate.
Yeah, very, very good indeed. But we'll talk about the 2010, it was the Youth Olympics in Singapore, I think. Mm-hmm. And you got a silver medal there. Maybe we should have touched on this earlier because it's going a bit out of order, but silver medal at the Youth Olympics, that's a bloody awesome achievement, mate.
Yeah, thanks. That was kind of where it all started, to be honest. I only started with Alex in 2009, around about May. and I didn't know if I was a high jumper, triple jumper, hurdler. Didn't really we were just training. But back then, Alex was also training. He was a triple jumper himself, and I think a lot of my technical kind of skill comes from him and him being able to show me what to do. He was very technical, and if I had to do a drill, he could actually show me and how to do it properly. So I think I was a pretty raw kid back then, and I didn't have any bad habits, so I could just kind of, all right, this is what I got to do. I'm very visual, so I can watch it, I can do it. Sweet. And then so I wanted to train for a high jump for a school carnival, so we did some jump to PB then, and then I guess a year later we did more high jump stuff, and we made the Australian team to go to Singapore. That was my first time going overseas, and going into it, my PB was 210, and I jumped 219 in the final. Equaled the first place's height as well, but he beat me on countback, which kind of sucked. But that was kind of like the point where we were like, this is an international comp. We've done kind of well. We could make this a thing. Let's give this a good crack. And I mean, it was a good comp, a good decision. And, what was that, 11 years, 12 years later, and we're still here going all right.
Countback ties into the most recent, the Tokyo Olympics as well. So we'll touch on those in a sec. But can you just explain how the countback works? Because for people who don't know it too well, it might confuse them a bit. Yeah.
So in that case, at Singapore, the height goes up to 219. This guy from Israel, he had his first attempt. He cleared it. I had my first attempt. I missed it. So I went another attempt. I can't remember if I got it on my second or my third. Either one. I cleared it, but Israel guy is Dimitri Kreuter. He's in the lead because he cleared it on his first attempt. If we both cleared it on our first attempt and then we both missed the next height, it would then go on how many misses in the comp. If it's all clear, like, say, Tokyo in the first silver gold position, they hadn't missed a jump all comp. They both missed 239, I think it was. And so they were still in equal first position because there was nothing for them to break up. So traditionally that would go to a jump off because it's for first place, but they decided against it and decided to share it.
Yeah, what do you think of that? Like, what did you think of that?
I didn't mind it. I know they're very close friends. Jimbo, the Italian, went to Barshim's wedding. So that's how close they are. They're very, very good friends. I mean, it would have probably depended on who. If I was in that situation, and it would probably depend on how I was feeling in the comp and who it was with. If I was, friends or friendly with that person and they thought the same thing, maybe. If I felt like I could clear the next height, I'm like, no, let's keep going. It's very situational, I think. Yeah,
it's high risk, high reward though, because it's like you've got a guaranteed gold, and it's not too bad to share it either, to be honest.
No, yeah, I mean they're both going around like they are Olympic champions, so
yeah,
but then you could go for it, and the other guy could jump it, and you won't. And
yeah, that's the thing.
I don't know, tough.
It's interesting, and you've been, from what you've been saying, you've been stung by the countback a few times, so I'd totally get if you weren't a big fan of the system. But overall, do you think the countback system is fair and just, I guess?
Yeah, I think it is. It kind of comes down to the importance of clearing heights at the earlier stages of the comp. Some people might come into a comp not fully ready, but at a lower height, just to kind of warm up, and they might miss a height here, might miss a height there, but at the end of the comp, that might bite them in the butt. So, I think it's a great system, and I think it works well.
Is there much debate around its existence in the high jump and athletics community?
Not really, to be honest. Some people don't fully understand it, but once you do, I think it's a pretty fair system, and it's worked out quite well. I mean, there hasn't been many times where they haven't gone to a jump off and they've tied for first. There've been many situations where they've gone for a jump off and the jump. So to explain the jump off is an extra attempt at the height they both missed. So say the Olympics, they went for 239. They both had 3 misses. If they went to a jump off, they would have one more attempt at 239. If they both get it, it goes up 2 centimeters. And then it's basically sudden death. If one gets it, one misses it, it's over. If they both miss it, it goes down 2. If they both miss it, it goes down 2. If they both miss it, they go down 2. They keep going until there's a clear winner. It can go on forever. It can go on for a long time. Usually jump offs, because at the end of the comp, you're pretty tired and you keep jumping and you're not going to clear it because you're just getting more tired and more tired and more tired. And,
In that situation, why not just 1 centimeter?
I don't know. There's a rule. You can't go up by 1 centimeter. If you're the last person in the comp, you can choose your height, but the minimum is 2 centimeters. I don't know. That's just how it's been. There's no. I don't know. It's been like that forever. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It's just you can't go up by more than, but by a centimeter. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'm starting to feel like an expert on the rules of high jumping. And whilst I could talk about the technicalities of the rules and all the bylaws, I think I'll move on to, I'm really interested in how in terms of sponsorship works. So obviously you're using sponsorship to get prams, but obviously it's also super important just to use it in terms of general, like for you, is it like order self-funded? Is it like supported by the AIS? Like how does, like as an athlete, how do you sort of like go about all that to be able to go out there and compete?
Mm-hmm. I've been super fortunate throughout my career to know some people and to kind of get, I guess maybe be in the right spot. I don't know. But as you can see, ASICS they've been a sponsor of mine since I signed with them in 2013. But I'd been receiving some like product beforehand, and they've been my main sponsor for ages. And they've done custom spikes for me, and they're absolutely awesome. So they've helped me to, I guess, focus less on trying to work and be more of a full-time athlete. So it's definitely a weight off the shoulders to focus more on being an athlete and producing results. And then as results come, you might get more opportunities. So YoPro is another sponsor, the yoga company. I'm actually I'm an ambassador for Coles. And that kind of came about because I was an employee from Coles. Straight out of school, I just got a part-time job at Coles and then kind of gained traction after Com Games, and then we signed an ambassador role. So I've got a couple of sponsors, which helps obviously be a full-time athlete. But on top of that, Athletics Australia, they have a system called NAS, and that supports upcoming athletes as well as people who are potentially on the podium. They've got different tiers, and different tiers have different amounts of money, and they support Australian athletes kind of to try and get to that next stage and get better.
Yeah, right. And speaking of on the podium, tell us about the 2018 Com Games on the Gold Coast, Brandon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was incredible. That's probably my favourite comp so far. I had my family there. You don't have a big comp like that in Australia very often. I think Laura told me that Melbourne might have a chance of having Com Games in 2026. I don't know if I'll still be going then. I think that depends on the body. Hopefully, because that'd be awesome to have another one in Australia. Maybe Ollie, he'll be 5 by then, 4 or 5. So he'll be old enough to kind of watch. Who knows? We'll see. But it was.
You're planning on him competing.
Yeah. But to have I felt like the whole crowd was behind me, and it was pretty loud. It was pretty cool just to perform and get the gold with all of them. So favorite comp by far.
Yeah, gold medal. Where do you keep it?
It's in another room where the dogs kind of stay. It's got a couple trophies, got a couple shoes. I don't know if you noticed, I had a white and a black pair during my comm games. It was like an opposite. That came about because I could have a custom color because there wasn't a world champs here. Anyways, this is through ASICS. I asked if I could have a custom color, and I went for them. And after I won, I got made by someone there a custom pair of Gel Light 3s, which is kind of a classic ASICS sneaker in the same colors as my spikes, which are pretty cool. They live in that room as well. I mean, I can get it if you want, but that's
all good. That's unreal. I found it's in the dog room. The dogs had their own room.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's where you put your trophies in.
Luckily enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to brag, but there's a few things there. Like when I jumped 236, there was a big trophy that I got for through Eberstad, because it was a pretty famous comp for high jump. That year I won the Diamond League trophy as well, so I had to bring both of them back. They've got to live somewhere. That's where they live.
Move from the comm games. Let's talk about the most recent Olympics. I've mentioned it before, the Tokyo Olympics, 2020, 2021 Olympics, whatever you want to call them. You finished fifth, but you were just 2 centimeters, so I guess one level off the winners, the 2 gold medal winners. Your overall kind of reflections on those games, that comp?
At the time, I was a little bit disappointed because I went in there with a goal to win, and to be that close, it was tough. But looking back at it now, I'm pretty happy. 235 would have won or medalled at a lot of the Olympic games. So, yeah, to miss out a little bit, I'm like, yeah. But I know that I gave it all, and I left it all out there, and I'm happy with my performance. Yeah.
So you had a crack at the 2.39, which would have got you the gold. And you're talking before about how, like, when you're really in the zone, there's no other thoughts going through your head, really. You've got a kind of clear headspace. So how are you feeling? What was going through your head when you're having to go at that 2.39?
Well, I had to give it all, really. I knew they jumped 237 their first attempts. I missed, so this is coming back to count back again. If I had cleared the 237, I wouldn't have gained a position to get into a medal position. So I knew 239 was, I have to get that or I'm done. So it was literally just, all right, I'm here, put everything into this, just run and jump and see what happens. It was a long comp at that stage, so I think I was running out of steam. But, I gave it a good crack and unfortunately didn't quite get there.
Over here in Australia at the time, there was lots of attention surrounding you, lots of media coverage around you. Did you feel that much?
A little bit, from quali to final. I did see there's a lot of support back here. And it was a good time because COVID was around, and it kind of took everyone's mind off COVID and something to look forward to watch and stuff. And it was lucky it was in Tokyo, so the time difference was not that bad. It was an hour difference or something, so it was pretty prime for Aussies to watch. And it was very much appreciated for how much support that there was back here.
But like compared to the 2016 Olympics, it would have just been a completely different experience for you personally, though, because of all that COVID stuff and no one being able to come watch you, no family, no friends, nothing like that.
No, definitely different. I was 21. No, I wasn't. I was 24. When was I? I was 23. 23 or 22. I don't know. I was younger. I was younger and not as good, obviously. My PB was 231 and I wasn't as experienced. So, going into Tokyo, I had a lot more experience behind me and I kind of knew knew more about my body and what I had to do, and kind of been in that top tier before. So it was totally different. Came 15th in Rio, came 5th in Tokyo. So it was definitely a huge difference in games for sure.
Yeah, and be honest, so obviously you and Laura met in Japan. How tempted were you to try and sneak her onto the plane for another world trip?
A little bit. No, Laura was pregnant at the time, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure if she wasn't, maybe. But during COVID, probably a bit of a risk.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a bit of a shame, actually, that no one could, just COVID kind of ruined that. But I don't know, who knows, maybe Paris. We'll see.
Maybe, yeah. We'll see, I guess. But another super successful Australian high jumper got silver in Tokyo, Nicola McDermott. She's super religious. Talks about her relationship with religion and God all the time. And I guess it's fair to say that's what kind of drives her. So what drives you, Brandon, to be successful and be the best you can be?
I guess that the chase for perfection sort of thing, or to improvement. I love the sport of high jump and I love doing it, and that feeling of success or thinking I've made a really good jump, or I'm getting better. It's a pretty cool feeling, and for me, I know that I have more to give, so that is what I'm chasing. I'm chasing that, how much I can get out of what I'm doing. I'm doing training all this much and doing all this work, and you want to get results, and that's what I'm kind of chasing. Getting my absolute best out of everything that I can.
I'm guessing you're not going to kind of settle for kind of 5th place at the next games. You're just going to try to go better and better and better.
Oh, absolutely. 15th to 5th to 1st. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a nice story. Looking forward to telling that one in 2024, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's, I guess, is it weird with the Olympics? I know it's only a year, but it's now suddenly, it's only 3 years away. You've got suddenly Olympics last year, you've got Com Games this year. Does this impact your training at all, or your thought process?
In terms of Olympics being so close? Or
I guess it's going straight from Olympics straight into pretty much Com Games, and then it feels like a lot closer.
It does, but so this year is slightly different. But traditionally, we would have Olympics, World Champs, Com Games, World Champs, Olympics, World Champs. So every year we've got a major. So we're always coming off one major, looking into the next one. But this year, because Com Games didn't get moved back, that stayed the same. The World Champs was meant to be in 2021, and that got postponed a year. So this year we have World Champs, and then 2 weeks later we've got Com Games, which has obviously never happened before. So it's going to be a big year. And then I guess once that comes around, it's only 2 years to the Olympics. And so, I actually don't mind it. You don't have to wait as long. You can kind of keep that good energy going and just keep going from year to year, and you don't have to wait 4 years. But I don't know, I'm pretty keen to get back out there. I mean, I'm defending champ at Com Games, so I'm ready to go out there, trying to go back to back, obviously.
Get the dogs a new toy.
Yeah, exactly. Little mascot.
I love that, mate. I love that. And I guess our final question, which is one of our favourites, is do you have any life philosophy, any few little words that you sort of live your life by? Laura would probably say the same. Are you going to go with the ASIC, just whatever, the ASIC sponsorship thing, or no?
No. I mean, so far in my life, I don't know if this will change now that I have a child, maybe, I don't know, but I have thought in my sport, I like to think of things as choices and not sacrifices. If I think I'm sacrificing something for something, then I really don't want to be there doing that. I'd rather be doing whatever I'm sacrificing. So far for my career, I've chosen to do what I have chosen to do. I haven't sacrificed, going out because I've got to train the next morning, or I've chosen that I've got to train tomorrow morning, so I'm choosing not to go out. Or obviously talking back when I was kind of 21 sort of thing, because I'm way past that now. But that's probably that's what I say to kind of kids growing up to, try and make the right choice and try not to think of it as a sacrifice. Should I be eating this? I'm going to choose to eat, some veggies instead of some lollies or whatever. Just try and make the right choice instead of thinking of it as a sacrifice.
Very good, mate. And as we know from the pocket profile, you do have a love of chocolate, but you you managed to keep it in check and still get yourselves a whole lot of medals. But Lockie said that was the final question. It's the final main question. But we've got a traditional last segment on the show. It's called the Where Do We Begin quiz, and I'm going to hit the music. We love that music. And Lockie, very different quiz today. So I've got 2 questions for you, Lockie. First one, do you know how many languages I speak?
English, Latin, and then maybe a little bit of Japanese. So I'm going to go 3.
I'll say I don't speak any other than English, so I only speak English. And the next question for you, do you know how much of a singer I am? Have you heard me sing before?
Well, mate, you lived in Japan for a bit, Harper, so I reckon you sort of failed there. That's more on you than me. And what was the second question, sorry?
Well, mate, I lived in Japan when I was like 0 years old. But second question was, have you heard me sing before?
Yes, I have.
You have? Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Didn't know that. But if you've heard me sing before, you probably know that I'm not very good. So I've combined these 2 kind of non-existent talents into a very different Where Do We Begin quiz today. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it could be the greatest Where Do We Begin quiz we've ever had.
Worst.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to play you 2 guys some songs. And that sounds pretty simple, but there's always a little twist to it here at Where Do We Begin. So what I've done is I've sung some songs over a backing track. You've got to guess what they are. But the twist is I've sung the songs in another language. So 5 questions, 10 points on offer. For each one, you can get 1 point for the language that I'm singing in and another point for the name of the song that I'm attempting to sing. Of course, it always relates to the guest, this quiz. So, Brandon, you were born on November the 24th. Is that right?
Correct.
All these songs were number 1 in Australia on November the 24th at some point in history. So that's our little connection there. Do you guys kind of get where we're heading here? Are we ready to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll play the first song. We'll see how this goes. First one, and you can buzz in at any time, but you've only got 1 guess at like each of the language and the song, and then you're out. So here we go. First song. Oye Jude, no lo hagas mal. Toma una canción triste y hazla mejor. Recuerda dejarla debajo de tu piel. Entonces comenzarás a hacerlo mejor, 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 mejor. Na, 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 na.
Okay.
Na. Lockie?
No idea. I know what the song is now, but I don't know what it's called. But I'm just going to have a stab at the language. Is it German?
German is incorrect. Do you know the song? Do you want to have a guess at the song? I can play a bit more. Brandon can guess as well.
Mate, I don't want to subject myself to listening to that any longer, to be honest.
Is it French? I don't think it's French.
French is also incorrect.
Oh, no.
Do you want me to play a little bit more so you can get the song? It's a very famous song.
I know the song, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what it's called? Well, if I play a bit more, you might get it. So I'll play the last few seconds.
In another language.
Yeah, well,
So
like it basically
lyrics to
gives
the
it
song.
away. I'll say it here basically straight away when I play it now. I'll play the last few seconds. Na 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 na, with you.
Hey June.
Na 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 na.
Brandon Starc has absolutely nailed it with Hey Jude.
Yeah.
He's got it correct. He's gone 1-0 up. Very nicely done. And the language was Spanish.
Missed that.
I should have known that. That is my second language.
Oh, that's poor.
Well, it actually is. I only speak one like Harper, so technically anything could be my second language.
Fair.
Brandon, do you speak any other languages yourself?
Nope.
Okay.
A couple words here and there, but no, nothing.
A couple of words here. Yeah, we'll move on to the next song. Brandon is 1-0 up, so 2 more points on offer here. Let's play it. Lockie?
I'm just going to secure the 1 point first. Gimme.
Gimme is incorrect.
No, that's not it. No. Oh, no.
Okay.
Right,
I would say, do you want to have a guess at the language, but I haven't even started.
You haven't said anything yet.
I'm going to go. I'll have a crack anyway because I've got to go, don't I?
Well, I can play more and then you can guess the language.
Play more.
You'd want to hear a bit. Anyway, let's continue.
I'll just have a crack because I probably won't know the language anyway. Russian.
Surprise. It's incorrect. Nick, Brandon, it's all you now. You could basically wait out this whole
Mamma Mia?
Oh, yeah, Mamma Mia is correct.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
Well done. God, very early. Now he's got the whole kind of, I think it's a minute and a half of singing to get the language. So you're 2-0 up. You can go 3-0 up if you get the language here.
Mm-hmm.
Banger.
Can I go, Lockie?
Lockie, you've already guessed the language. You bobbed out and say Russian before I started singing.
Didn't count.
Is it Mandarin?
Mandarin is absolutely correct. Well, I should say I put all these through Google Translate, so the lyrics might not be totally accurate. And according to Google Translate, this is Chinese simplified. But Mandarin, I think it's basically the same thing. So we'll give that to you, Brandon. Well done. You've gone 3-0 up. You're on a roll. We'll go to the third one. Here we go.
Oh, yep.
Brandon.
You're the voice?
You're the voice is correct. It's 4-0. Lucky. Jeez. You've got a long way to come back here. I think there are only like 5 more points at offer, so you've got to get on a bit of a roll, but we'll continue it to get the language. Wir sind alle der Tochter von jemandem. Wir sind alle jemandes Sohn. Wie lange können wir uns ansehen? Brandon. German is correct. You're good at this, mate. 5-0.
I'm not good at many things, mate. But how many points on offer? 4?
4 more points at offer. I'd like to give out some bonus points so you can have a chance, but that wouldn't be in the spirit of the quiz. So,
bonus points for wearing purple.
No, I'm afraid not, actually, mate. But geez, I'd take negative points off because you're wearing a hat and it's not the where do we begin hat. That's a shot from you. We'll go to our fourth
He's got no
song.
points to take off.
Yeah, true. Go negative.
Wow. Just kick a man when he's down.
Oh, sorry.
We'll get into the fourth song. It's a dead rubber now, but Brandon can go for some kind of record for a quiz win. Here we go. Ja, blondige Bimbo will mir fahren.
No.
Brandon.
I know it.
I can play more if you want.
Oh, no. Brandon's giving it to me.
Yeah, you go for it. Oh, I don't know what it's called.
I can play more. Maybe you can have a go.
Isn't it Barbie Girl?
Barbie Girl's spot on. This is an amazing performance from you, Brandon. Do you want to have a crack at the language, or do you want me to play a bit more?
Lockie, I'm having a crack at it. I'm having a crack at the language. You know what? I'm going to double down. Russia. I'm doubling down on my guess from before. Let's go. It's got to be one of the languages, doesn't it?
If Lockie's got this, he's got his first point, he's made it 6-1. It's too late to come back and win, but it's an absolutely huge achievement if he's got it here. Get a bit of a drum roll going. Russian's correct.
Oh, he's on the board.
Yeah, and that was all on skill as well. No luck involved at all.
Of course. It's 6-1 now. Too little, too late. But we'll move on to the
respectable. It's a respectable score on now.
All right.
The fifth and final song of this this unique Where Do We Begin quiz. It's been a bit of a wacky one, but here we go. We'll hit the music for our final question. Lockie.
Tick tock on the clock. It's that one,
what's the name of the
Kesha.
song?
TikTok by Kesha.
TikTok by Kesha is correct.
Oh.
And do you know the language, or do you want me to play a bit more?
Keep playing. I've got no idea.
Brandon, do you want to have a crack at the language, or play a bit
Keep
more?
playing.
Okay, I'll keep playing. Fox was in the fond. Drop les tunnels, c'est les préférés. Tirer jusqu'à faire. J'essaie d'être un peu pompé. Lockie.
Did you say jour? Is it like French? That sounded French with the J.
If he's got it, he's got the 5 or 3 points of the quiz. Do another drum roll. You know what? Amp up the tension.
I think it's French too.
Dead rubber. Could it be 6-3? Can Lockie get the final one? He can.
I had to let you get some points, you
In
know.
French.
I only start trying for the final ones. You know, they're what really count.
Oh. I knew them all, though. I just had to let you get some.
Oh,
you know? Yeah.
Thanks, mate. I
course.
appreciate
Nice
that.
guest, you know. Yeah.
It's clear that Brandon's just a very nice guy, and that's all really come out in this quiz. He can't be too rude to his host and just win 10-0 against him.
Exactly.
Got to have a bit of sportsmanship, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for the quiz. Actually, we'll play the victory music for Brandon. You know what? Well done, Brandon. Anyone you'd like to dedicate the win to? I'm sure it's up there with your gold medals.
No.
Wow. Well, I'm pretty glad we're not giving him a trophy then to put in his dog's room.
Yeah. Indeed. But I think that's about it. So thanks very much, Brandon, for coming on. Lockie, is there anything else you want to say before we let Brandon go?
I'd just like to thank Brandon for giving up his time. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, thanks also for the listeners for tuning in.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And thank you, Brandon. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
不是谁没谁后被你批养了，有时我下定决心一定要记耶稣。现在看看我后些什么不知道人没呼吸，突然失控了。我的灵魂里有一突然火，一看一眼我就能听到铃声，再看一眼我就立即起。哦，妈妈咪呀，我又来了，哦对，我现没能看住你，妈妈咪呀。又出现了吗？哦对，我是多么想念你，是的我心碎了。可我们分开，你才开始打脸色。为什么？我为什么放过你？妈妈咪呀！现在我现在知道了，哦对，我永远不能让你走。